Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Dave.
It's Main Street Electrical Podcast. Welcome back to Main Street Electrical Podcast, episode number 74. And the 50th is over. And so now it's like
it's not over.
It's not over. There's an 18-month celebration going on. But for us, in terms of the meeting and being down there and everybody, it's like it's been a week. It's been a week since we've been back. And now it's just like... and so we had like 5 episodes straight about 50th and Walt Disney World and the 50 things we loved and the recap and everything. And now it's like, well, now we got to talk about something else. What do we talk about?
Like,
I don't even know anymore.
I don't know. Yes, literally.
I don't even know what day it is. I come back, and of course, you're the same thing. Our to-do lists are like forever long now because people
still
are like
catching up.
Yeah, I mentioned before that my to-do list had like 14 things on it yesterday, and I feel like I accomplished 10. And then this morning, 12 more things were added. So it's one step forward, 3 steps back.
3 steps back. Yep.
Like the classic Nitty Gritty Dirt Band song says, nobody gets too far like that. Because that's the truth. That's how it is.
What we're dealing
but
with.
Thus is the life of a successful travel agent, myself and Jen, of course. Info at uponstartravel.com. Plug. All right, so Jen, how'd you Disney this week?
I Disneyed in a very fun way. I booked myself and Brady on the Galactic Star Cruiser adventure.
Nice. Very nice. When are you going?
March 3rd.
March 3rd. That's
not
long after it opens.
That's the second launch, so to speak.
Very cool. That's awesome. So that's going to be really cool. Lots of pictures. I'm sure we will steal lots of pictures from you and pass them off as their own, which will be awesome. So very nice.
So I've got it booked. I'm excited. So
very nice. I will. This is how I Disney this week. I've just been doing nothing but quotes. That's all I've been doing. I've been immersing myself in not just quoting, but because when you have to quote, obviously, but like. Every time I quote something, I go in, I learn a little bit more about, I'm doing Port Orleans Riverside, and I'm taking pictures, and I'm working with pictures and editing and kind of learning a little bit more about the rooms, and I'm quoting French Quarter, and of course Saratoga Springs is reopening. Yesterday, I got my Saratoga Springs room set up completely. I had a Coronado Springs room packaged with tickets, and then I had a Saratoga Springs room, no tickets. I finally got my ticket, so I was able to cancel Coronado, move the money to Saratoga. I've got a 1-bedroom for November, which I'm real excited about. It's refurbished rooms. I'm hearing the rooms are fantastic.
I'm hearing they're great. Yeah.
I'm sure they'll have lots of pictures that you can steal and pass off as your own. Because if it's not Grand Flow, you're not staying in it. So I'm not even sure
I stay at Riviera. I stay at.
That's true. That is
Contemporary.
true. Well, when you just have to stay at Riviera.
I stay at the Yacht Club.
I know when you have to. When Grand Flow is booked up, when it's like one of those when you wake up and you're coming down for your coffee, you look at Brady. Let's go to Disney tomorrow. Okay, let's do that. All right, what's available? Oh, it's just Yacht Club. Well, I guess we'll have to do that then.
That's
the
totally
conversation.
What it sounds like.
That's exactly what's happening at the Novotny home. Real quick, happy birthday to quasi-producer Heather.
Woo, Heather.
Big birthday today. Josh tomorrow called. He can't be on the show today. He wanted to come out and wish his own greetings, but he did say happy birthday to you, Heather. He enjoyed meeting you. He said he can't remember anybody else's name, but he remembers Heather. So happy birthday there to Heather in Tomorrowland, which is where her mentality permanently resides. Let's get to some news. All right, so the big news this week is that next week, Genie Plus launches. October 19th. The long wait is over. We now know when it launches, October 19th. And I got to be honest with you, I am a little nervous about how it's going to roll out. Not because I think it's a bad program, but because I know Disney and I know Disney Tech. And
it's like going on sale. So like every travel agent is going to be working on adding stuff to their package. Every consumer who booked direct is going to be working on. And also, if you're a consumer, use a travel agent.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we can help you with that.
I sent I sent all my emails out to my clients in the last couple of days. Just, hey, here's the Genie Plus stuff, which, by the way, and if I do say so myself, it's a great article. UponAStar.travel.com. Go to the blog, and the first article there is Genie Plus, how it works, what's going on with it, how it launches, what the price is, and all the attractions that are listed under there as well. And let's do a quick run-through just to make sure that people understand. And, Jen, you can correct me if I missed something here.
Okay.
The Lightning Lane is a physical place. That is the line.
Place.
It's the place you used to go for the Fast Pass line. Now it's called the Lightning Lane.
That is correct.
So when we say Lightning Lane attraction, that is any attraction you go to the Lightning Lane for. So you're not. I'm not purchasing a Lightning Lane. That Lightning Lane is the actual physical line.
That's a physical
what it's called.
line.
Okay. There are two categories of attractions here that we're talking about, and I liken it to Disney dining, where you have counter services and you have table services. Okay. Counter services and table services, you can overlap. You can actually get a mobile order at Casey's Corner for 12 o'clock and have a 12:15 reservation for the plaza if you want. You're not really supposed to have two reservations for the plaza, and mobile ordering twice at the same time is kind of ridiculous. But it's the same thing. It's all dining, but you can do it. It's there. But
you have two people who want to eat at Pecos Bills and
exactly,
want to eat at whatever.
Right. So this is kind of the Disney Genie Plus Lightning Lane selections, and every park has a whole list of them, and these are the ones that essentially these are like the ones you would get fast passes for in a previous life. For Magic Kingdom, Pirates of the Caribbean, Mad Tea Party, Jungle Cruise, Splash Mountain, Barnstormer, Haunted Mansion, Dumbo, and a lot of those attractions there. I mean, there are some like Hall of Presidents that are not listed. Carousel of Progress have never had fast pass access or whatever. But that's when you purchase Genie Plus. $15 a day per person. When you purchase it, you go on. You can set up your first pass. You get inside. You get inside, the park, and you're like, okay, I'm looking at my app here, and let's do Peter Pan. There's a Peter Pan available at 9:15. Let's get it. All five of us in our family, we're getting Peter Pan, and it will tell you your return time is 9:25. So you go back, and between 9:25 and 9:30 or 10:35, something like that, an hour or so. Right. This is just like FastPass used to work. Only now you paid for your access. Okay.
And you're doing it on your app,
on your app, exactly.
Right. Which
let's just say you're in Hollywood Studios. Let's just say you've done the Rock and Roller Coaster at 9:15. It's done. You go online and think to yourself, you know what? Let's do Slinky Dog Dash now. You look on, but there's nothing available till like 3 o'clock because it's a pretty busy attraction. And so you can choose to do it 3 o'clock, and then you can't get another one for another couple hours, or do you have to wait till Slinky Dog is over?
No. So that is something that is newer, like we've kind of learned in the trainings and different things. So if you wake up in the morning, okay, we want Slinky Dog, we know that's a must do, and we know that line's long.
Right.
We got it at 3 o'clock.
Right.
120 minutes, or AKA 2 hours after park opening, you can get another attraction.
Gotcha. Okay.
Attraction. So you can go on your app. It should push notify you, but if not, just look. Okay, let's say park opens at 9. That is a standard opening time. Then at like 11 a.m., you can choose another selection.
So feasibly, you could have two in your queue, because Slinky Dog's at 3 o'clock. You don't get Slinky Dog till 3, but at 11 o'clock you've got Tower of Terror.
Right. And I believe, and don't quote me on this, I believe, and we'll have to clarify. Let's say you get like at 11 a.m. you get Tower of Terror, and then you finish Tower of Terror. I think you can get another one.
That's what I'm thinking.
And just keep going.
It doesn't. The good thing is it doesn't punish you to make you wait to the end of the day to do something, because Millennium Falcon might be busy. You might not be able to get it until 3 or 4 o'clock, and it's unfair for you to have to pay $15 per person and then not be able to even utilize the system.
You can only do that, right?
Exactly. So. Now, one thing I didn't realize is that you can only do these attractions once per day with the Genie Plus.
With the Genie, you can wait.
You can wait in line, but once you do Muppet Vision 3D, once you do Star Tours, once you do Slinky Dog, you can't get it again with Genie Plus. Once you get off Slinky Dog Dash with Genie Plus, you had an 8-minute wait because you had to go through the Lightning Lane line. Come off of it, and you look again. You're like, hey, let's do it again. Oh, the line is 80 minutes. You got to wait for it this time. You can't just go back and look on your app again. And that's something a little different, because previously you do your 3 fast passes and you could it was a free-for-all, whatever.
If you saw another one, okay, great. I can get that.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, those are the Genie Plus selections. So whenever we say Genie Plus attraction, that means those are the ones you can get with Genie Plus. Now, there's also something called the Individual Attraction Selection, the IAS, which is even clunky to say as an acronym, the IASs.
Yeah.
What about the REOSs? I don't think they exist. And so the individual attraction selections are the ones that you basically have to pay for. Now, we can talk about whether it's right or fair that Disney makes you pay for the extra. It's done. There's nothing we can do about it. Whatever my opinion is on that, it's not going to change. So this is how the system is. There's a couple of attractions, 2 per park you have to pay for. Epcot is Frozen Ever After. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, you don't have to pay for them.
No, you can stand by.
You can stand by, but if you want to use Lightning Lane,
yes,
you have to.
So, Epcot is Remy's Ratatouille Adventure and Frozen Ever After. The thing with Remy is that it's virtual queue. So there will be certain attractions, and I'm thinking ahead to Guardians and Tron, which will have to be a virtual queue. So with Frozen Ever After, it's a hour wait at 11 o'clock. You have the option to either purchase the access. I'm guessing $10, something like that, average per person. So if you got a family of 5, you can choose: do we pay $50 for it? Okay, who in our family? Okay, mommy and princess, 6-year-old princess, really want to ride it. Let's just, you guys pay. You guys get it. The 3 of us will go over here and eat some churros. And so you can do it that way too, but you pay for the attraction, or you wait the 80 minutes or the 60 minutes or whatever. You can purchase at 7 a.m. if you're on property. Okay, so you can go ahead and get Frozen. Now, can you purchase both? You get a maximum of 2 per day.
Maximum of 2 per day
of the purchased attractions.
Of the purchase. Now, you don't have to purchase 2. It's not like, okay, I'm going to purchase, individual attraction selections. I have to do 2. That's not the case. If you just want 1, then just purchase 1.
Right.
And you can purchase them over multiple parks. So Princess wants to do Frozen Ever After, but you're planning to hop to whatever Hollywood Studios later that night, and you want to get Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Right.
Fantastic, because you could buy 2 for Mom and Princess, and then for the whole family for Mickey and Minnie's. You can split it up, but you cannot pay for more than 2 per day.
And you don't have to purchase them at 7 a.m. That's just when your window opens. So if you get to the park at 9, you run the risk of not having them available because other people will be purchasing them, and off-property guests get to purchase theirs as soon as park opens.
Correct.
So if you wait till 9, suddenly you're now caught in the wash of all the people coming in that are off-property, unable to purchase until that time.
So if it's a ride that's important to you, you should purchase it at 7 a.m.
Now be careful. There is no exchanges, no take-backsies, no flip-flops, nothing. Once you purchase it, it's yours. There is no going to a cast member going, we wanted to ride Frozen, but the line was only 20 minutes. We went ahead and rode it. Can we switch this over to? No, you can't. Cast members sorry.
Now, there needs to be a modification of some sort. You would need to go to a guest services umbrella. I mean, I guess if it's a time issue.
Yeah, and it's really one of those, it's a case-by-case issue. Things happen, outliers happen, things like that.
But you have to go to guest services. You can't do anything on the app.
Right.
You've got it.
Now, Animal Kingdom Park, wow. Animal Planet, Avatar, and Expedition Everest, which is really odd to me. Those are the ones that are the IASs, the individual attraction selections. You got to pay for those.
To me, but
I was surprised it wasn't Navi or Kilimanjaro Safaris, or even just having one, but they did 2 per park. At Hollywood Studios, you've got Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway and Rise of the Resistance, and Rise will be one that likely will sell out over the course of the day. So that's something, if you really want Rise, go ahead and do it. And you really, for people who don't go to the park very often, like you and I go a lot, and I think, with all of our people, we were prepared to purchase Remy as soon as it came available. If Genie Plus had launched before the first, we were like, let's buy Remy and be done with it. Otherwise, we did the virtual queue and we're fine. It's a decision you have to make as a family. Do you want to purchase these attractions? Rise of the Resistance. We tried to get for the virtual queue. The virtual queue didn't work. We didn't get in. Do we try for 1 o'clock? Do we go ahead and purchase it? It's just something you just have to decide. I mean, it's a tough decision, and I hate that Disney's making you make that decision, but it's tough. Hollywood Studios, Mickey and Minnie, Star Wars: Rise of the Resistance. Epcot is Frozen and Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. Magic Kingdom, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and we have listed Space Mountain. Is it Space Mountain or Big Thunder? It's Space Mountain, right?
It is Space
Mountain. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. And again, just to kind of wrap this up, these are attractions you cannot get through Genie Plus.
Nope.
So it's not, if you've got Genie Plus and you purchased it, it's not like you're looking at space going, okay, we can either stand by, get a Genie Plus pass for it, or purchase it. No. You can stand by or purchase.
Or you can purchase it.
That's it.
Correct.
If you have Genie Plus, like Peter Pan's Flight, you can stand by. Or you can use the individual attraction. Oh, you can actually use the Genie Plus, Lightning Lane, whatever. You do it that way. You have a choice to stand by on all of these except for Remy, and that's the virtual queue only. Right. And eventually, more than likely, probably sooner than later, it's going to come down to a standby line because the ride is great, but I don't see it being this long-lasting, oh my gosh, we got to ride Remy.
It loads pretty quickly. Unlike Rise, which is that's a longer.
It's a 20-minute experience, start to finish. Remy is a 4-minute ride. So I think that it's going to go down to standby. It moves pretty fast.
Mickey and Minnie's. I kind of feel like eventually, after the newness dies down, the lines will be.
Yeah, well, that's when something else opens. They'll have something else there, which I don't know what else is opening in Hollywood Studios. They may keep it that way for a while. It is $15 per person per day. And maybe next week we'll kind of spend a little more time on maybe walking through the purchasing and how to do it and how it works. And we'll talk about. Hopefully, we'll come back on next episode and talk about how easily and smoothly it rolled out. How we were surprised how great it is. Disney Tech is Disney Tech. I've got a client that contacted me yesterday because she tried to import her trip into my Disney experience, and it wouldn't find anything. It's a valid. Everything works. Everything should work, but it doesn't. Now I've got a call today to figure it out. So that makes me think. With the small things they have trouble. The big things, oh boy. So, Josh, I know you're listening. We love you, brother. But let's take off some of the graphics on Disney's website and put maybe another $20 on the website. Just saying. I got some friends that are masters at websites that would love to help out and probably would do it for cheap. I'm just saying. So, speaking of Star Wars Hotel, you mentioned this that you were going to go to the Star Wars Hotel. Give us the update. Who can book right now? I know yesterday was Disney Visa card holders. We've already had annual passes and DVCs. October 28th is for the commoners, for the poor people, for the mass people. So what's coming up? Do we know anything else?
Yeah, well, aside from now we're in the Disney Visa opening phase, we shall say.
Right.
And then they are going to shut off pre-sales again. The next time it'll be open, well, not pre-sales, but sales.
Right.
October 28th will be.
Okay, so after Disney Visa, we're done. I mean, now
we're
it's
done.
October 28th. Okay.
Yeah, until October 28th.
Yep.
At which point, general public. It is a very lengthy process to book. You have to think of it like a cruise line. And I have some interesting things about if we have time to go over them.
Yes,
so
we do.
We need to think about this more like a cruise ship and less like a hotel.
Right.
This is not a hotel stay. Number one, you are doing a 20% deposit. That 20% deposit is refundable up until final payment. Final payment is 90 days out. Once you hit 90 days, you do have a penalty. And don't quote me on this part. I believe it's 50% after the 90 days, like you're 50% non-refundable.
Okay.
And then until 30 days out. At 30 days out, it becomes completely non-refundable.
Okay.
So you need to know you're going to spend the money. You need to know you're going to go, and you probably should get some insurance.
I was going to say
something
travel
happens.
protection insurance.
In this case, heaven forbid you get sick the week before you go. I mean, it's non-refundable. So you need to have some insurance just in case.
Is there a transfer option? Let's just say that you booked it for March 25th and you get sick on the 26th.
No,
it
is a cancel rebook. Okay. There is no transfer.
Like a cruise.
No movie. It is like a cruise. There is no transfer.
And I'm guessing with Disney World vacations, let's just say your final balance was due October the 12th. It's the 13th. You know what? If you paid it today, there's no penalty, no fee. I'm guessing it's going to be like a cruise, like maybe at midnight.
It cancels out at midnight.
Yeah, exactly. And let me just tell you,
no
Disney Cruise Line does not play. And this happened to me once before where I missed a deadline, and I had to go back and rebook it out of my own pocket because it was my mistake. I paid an extra $400 for a client to rebook the same room. Thankfully, it was there. This was several years ago before I became perfect. And so, I had to go back and rebook the whole thing because at midnight, Disney Cruise was like, "You're done. We're out. We're finished." And same thing with this. This is very, very different with that. So
So I will also tell you that on the day you check in to the Galactic Star Cruiser, do not arrive prior to 11 a.m. Okay, there will be shuttles to Disney Springs so that you can enjoy Disney Springs.
Right.
Or I'm sure you could go to a park if you had a ticket or whatever. That's not going to be whatever. But then you can begin boarding the ship between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m.
Okay.
There is a muster drill at 3 p.m. Muster drills, of course, you are familiar with if you've been on cruises. No idea what that's going to entail on a Star Cruiser. I suppose I'll have to find out. Also, on the day of checkout, you must be out by 10 a.m. You will schedule luggage pickup. And if you're going somewhere else, maybe you're, tacking on a stay at the Grand Floridian. They can.
I don't know who would do that.
Yeah, but you can take that. You will have breakfast and lunch served just like at a club level lounge. There will be breakfast and lunch available while you are on the Star Cruiser.
Right.
Your sailing does come also with a quick service. Remember the old quick service, like with the Disney dining plan, where it's your entree plus a beverage. You can get an adult beverage with it. That is available for you to go into Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, Ronto Roasters, or Docking Bay 7. You can do somewhere else too. But if you're trying to stay immersed, then you're just going to stay in Batu and you're going to use one of those two places. Also interesting, if you would like to do like a Savi's or a Droid or an Oga's and you want to have those reservations and you can't get them at 60 days out, they did say that we could call and they have some special availability, which I'm like, that's very interesting that they can maybe facilitate that for those who are paying the money.
I was going to say, for the price you're paying, it's nice to have a little heads up.
It's nice to have a little heads up. I mean, like, you still try to book it as normal, but if something happens and you're not finding it, they did say to call back for that. And aside from that, you are using your is not a magic band. It is it's a galactic something, your data pad, whatever. But it is a very specialized one. You cannot customize it, and you can only pick it up on the Star Cruiser because they are not shipping them due to, I don't know why, because I guess it's
interference with the first order, more than likely.
Yes, I mean most likely it could get, if it got confiscated, that would just be really scary.
Right.
So that's probably
why. There is I don't know if you heard, there is a trade embargo on Naboo because the First Order does want, well, not the First Order, but I guess the Empire does want Naboo to fall in line with the star systems.
Wow.
And so, if you're on Naboo and you are expecting those bands to come in, it's not going to happen because they're basically confiscating the ships. So that's why they want to hold them till you get there. So
exactly. So I mean, it's really for your safety. So anyway, that's what I have ascertained thus far, and we are doing the captain's table one night. So there's an early and a late seating. And you cannot be late for events. If you are late for events, you are missing something. Right,
because this is a big deal. This is kind of a, and they are called data bands.
Data bands, thank you.
Data bands, yes. It allows you to interact with the elements aboard the ship and throughout all of Walt Disney World. Basically, data bands are wristbands resembling a watch or a bracelet that allow you to interact with sensors called access points aboard the Halcyon Star Cruiser, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and throughout Walt Disney World Resort. Okay, so randomly, and this is just because of Star Wars, Disney has this habit of giving like 15 names to a thing. Because Star Wars in Hollywood, which anybody just calls it Star Wars. They don't call it, I mean, the people who know will call it Galaxy's Edge, but most people, my mother-in-law is a great example. She's very immersed in Disney. She loves Disney. She's loved Disney for 50 years now. She calls it Star Wars. She'll call it Slinky Dog. She'll call it Remy. She won't call it anything Ratatouille Adventure. She'll call it Rock and Roller Coaster. I mean, she'll call things by their certain name, and she won't even use the official name. Like Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. It's Black Spire Outpost on the planet Batuu, which is Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And now you're going to have access to Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, which is the Halcyon ship that is going to be taking off with your data band. Galactic Star Cruiser voyages taking off from Batuu, porting and docking in Black Spire. I mean, it's like, what? And this is why I am very adamant about the fact, and Josh, again, I know you're listening, just make the call. Tomorrow, just announce to everybody, you know what? Forget the Lightning Lane stuff. We're calling it FastPass 2. Or call it FastPass Plus. FastPass 2.0, whatever.
No, it was FastPass
fine
Plus
with that.
before, so now
call it FastPass Plus Plus. FastPass Plus Plus is fine. FastPass Extra, whatever. Just stop giving 15 names to the same thing. It's annoying. It really is. Because I'll talk about Galaxy's Edge or a Black Spire Outpost, and my client will be talking about Galaxy's Edge, and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, we're talking about the same thing. It's just 17 different names. So...
We are. So anyway, that was my lengthy description of what I was.
No, I think that's great. I think that's awesome, and I'm really excited about you going on the Star Cruiser because you're going to have a lot to talk about. So go ahead and pencil that episode in as you're just going to talk about the Star Cruiser the entire time.
I figured.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit back and be like, go ahead, Jen, you talk. You talk. All right. So this is some sad news that I think that you've been upset about. I know you were crying this morning when we got on, and I asked you about it, and you told me this, and I was like, okay. Shrek 4D closing permanently in 2022.
For Universal,
for Universal, it will close. The Shrek and Donkey experience will continue to operate daily until this closure, and then it will. I mean, no, actually, I don't even know what that is. I guess that's two names of the same thing too. But the attraction will close. The Shrek and Donkey, I guess you meet them. That'll keep going on. But
I mean,
the gift shop,
devastated would be
the gift shop for Shrek 4D will also close. Shrek hasn't actually been relevant in about 13 years, I think. So I guess this is time.
Yeah, I think it's an overstatement to say it was devastated. I would say like this is bad. I couldn't care less. That's
confession. Shrek is not funny to me, and it has nothing to do with like I watched the first one, and I get some of the jokes, and some of the jokes are pretty clever. Some of the pointed jabs at Disney, and I get that. Like Lord Farquaad is actually basically Jeffrey Katzenberg. That's kind of
right. Yes. Okay.
Is it Jeffrey Katzenberg or is it Eisner? Maybe it's Eisner. I think it's Eisner. I think I don't remember. It's one of those. Maybe Katzenberg made it for Eisner. Whatever. I think it's pointed at
I use the word redonkulous because of.
Yep. Exactly.
I
and
like
so,
donkey.
there are some clever moments to it, but it's just not funny. I've never been a Shrek fan at all. Just whatever. So I've done this attraction, and I'm like, whatever.
It's whatever.
Also closing, sort of kind of sad, but not as sad. The Revenge of the Mummy ride in Universal is also closing in 2022, but it's going to have an 8-month refurbishment beginning January 7th and lasting until late summer. If we know Universal, they're either probably going to rebuild the entire ride in 3 weeks and then just open it whenever. Or, I don't know what they're going to do to it. They actually may build a theme park in that ride because they're just Universal. And they just will they'll just work and get it done quickly. So that's happening. And finally, the Disney Cruise Line itineraries are out for 2023. They are returning to the favorite tropical destinations in the Bahamas, the Caribbean, and Mexico in early 2023. And this was just released, I guess, yesterday, maybe the day before. In addition to top tropical destinations in the Bahamas, including Castaway Cay, Disney Cruise Line will offer one-of-a-kind vacations at sea to the Caribbean and Mexican Riviera from U.S. home ports, including Miami and Port Canaveral, Galveston, and San Diego. They will create more fun in the sun like never before with an array of departures from Florida in early 2023. I'm looking here to see they will go, I guess it just says Eastern and Western Caribbean. I guess they haven't been going back there lately. I don't even know. I haven't kept up.
Right now it's been 3 and 4 night sailings. I think they're about to get back to 7 nights.
Gotcha. Okay.
Coming up. But, because some of the cruise ports in the Caribbean haven't really been open. It depends on the country.
Right.
So everything's fairly modified right now. Just as a result of COVID.
So we do know that Disney Wonder will return to the West Coast next year, sailing from San Diego in April and May, and they'll be doing the Baja Peninsula gateways with 7-night itineraries through the Pacific. And so the cruises are happening, which is great. Everything's kind of opening back up, which is awesome. So and that leads us to what we want to talk about briefly before we get out of here. Jen, you just got back from a cruise like 3 days before the first. You went on the cruise. You went home, went to the bathroom, powdered your nose, and then got back on an airplane to go back to Disney World. Actually, literally, it was amazing.
Yeah, I didn't even go home.
Oh no, you went straight there, didn't you?
I went straight there, because we docked in Port Canaveral, which was about an hour from Orlando. So
what a charmed life.
And, well, it worked out because we had already planned to be down in Walt Disney World on the 28th. That was something we had just already had planned.
Right.
And then whenever this cruise option came up, it would depart on the 25th. Brady only had to miss one other day of work.
Right.
So, and then we just had to check in one day late. So it's fine. It was one of those things where we said, okay, this has to work out perfectly. And it did.
Yeah,
so
very nice.
Some changes though with how you have to access the cruise line. There is an app. It is called the Safe Passage app. Okay, Safe Passage, it's not even an app. I'm sorry. It's a website.
Right. Okay.
Safe Passage website. You have to register with this website and then make sure you save your username and password. And I would recommend pinning it to the home screen of your phone because
you're going to need it.
Because you are going to need this. And there's not an app, but if you pin the website to the home screen, you can always just open it up, log in, etc.
Right.
So what you have to do is you have to upload vaccination cards or negative tests. At this point, the current rule is 12 and up must be vaccinated. There is a slight change for 12-year-olds that are within the first 5 weeks of their birthday. There can be just a negative test because it's not enough time for the vaccination. We're not going to get into that whole, debate or discussion.
But just case in point, that is not a Disney rule. That is a Bahama rule.
That is Bahamas is what drove that.
Exactly. Rule. In order for them to sail to that area, including Castaway Cay, which Disney has to do, they have to have that. So that is not even Disney saying this because other cruise line, other ports and stuff, maybe in California or whatever, may not necessarily have that. Well, California does. But it's not. It might not be across the board with that, but that is a Bahama rule. So
See, at this point, that is most.
It is what it is. So,
before Bahamas announced that rule, there was the option for a negative test.
Right.
So remains to be seen. Will it go back to that? We don't know. So at this point, just know it's a vaccination card. Okay.
Yep.
Obviously, if they're under 12, at your own expense, you do need within 72 hours of sailing to get your children tested. It must be a PCR or rapid PCR. Rapid antigen is not accepted. Okay. You have to upload all of those test results. You can only start uploading things within 15 days of sailing. Okay. Within 15 days of sailing. Once you have sailed or once you have uploaded everything, you'll get a green check mark. You are clear to arrive at the port. You do your Disney Cruise Line online check-in as usual. Go ahead, make all of your, Palo, Remy, we want spa, we want all of the onboard experiences. And most of them are available. Some of them are modified, but most of them are available, I will say. Masks are required inside, but let's get to the port arrival just a bit. So you arrive at the port. Now, we chose to arrive on a Disney Cruise Line bus from the airport because we landed that morning. It's nice, seamless experience. If you arrive via a Disney shuttle, they will help get your luggage off the shuttle. They take care of it from there, and you can go directly to start the testing and check-in process. Now, if you are driving into the port, you need to choose your port arrival time beginning at 1 p.m. and you can only access and begin that process once your window opens. So that is just something to be aware of. We did the shuttle. It was nice and easy. We were escorted from the bus into an outdoor, very large tent. And we were handed a bag, like a large Ziploc bag that contained a swab and a vial and a label. So then they assigned us to, they were like makeshift stalls. I call them stalls. I'm sure there's a better, but it looks like, in the ER, there's like curtains and stuff to like separate you. And there were like 15 per room. I don't know. They're like, okay, you go over to number 12. You go in there, they pull the curtain, you label your vial. There's a worker that watches you swab. You have to put it in the vial with the liquid.
It's a little intense, a little personal there.
Then like you seal it and they like shake it up and they
like prison.
Like put in it's like, okay, all this and they're like scanning stuff. And once you've made the test, they say, okay, now go ahead and go wait over in tent. And then there's like several tents to wait in with like distance chairs, etc. We were in tent A. There's a TV for the kiddos. I mean, you've got all your luggage. And then if you're like, well, what if I have to go to the restroom? They have set up, and I'm like expecting a porta potty, right? They have set up this like outdoor makeshift bathroom that it was like impressive. It was almost like an indoor restroom. I don't know how they pulled that off, but I was like, okay, that's kind of nice. But it was like in a trailer and whatever they set up, and it was like flushing toilets and running water and all those things. So
that's awesome.
Which was great. And then you just had to stock your app. And after about 35 minutes of refreshing, like occasionally, okay, I'll text with somebody, okay, refresh the app, you get a green check mark. So occasionally you would hear people go, woo! Like, you would see like a family get up and they had been approved, like that,
right?
Uploaded. So, and that's why we were like, okay, yes, now we can go, we can board the ship. If you do not get the green check mark, there is a further screening area. And yes, people were sent there. There were about 100 to 150 people turned away from the ship because I don't know why.
I got to be honest with you.
Positive.
We had to do the COVID test in Cancun. Like 3 days before you could fly back to the United States.
Yes.
And even though everybody was fine, we were all good, there was this nervousness, like, what happens if maybe there's a false positive? Or maybe we have, what happens if we have it? And we're all thinking through, and, somebody almost didn't come on the trip because she's like, I can't afford to be sick. I can't afford to stay here. Yeah. And obviously, if you got a quarantine in Cancun is not the worst thing in the world, but you'd be confined to your room. And, thankfully we had beachfront property, which helped. But there is that nervousness of like, okay, please. Oh, I'm negative. Yeah, I'm negative.
Literally.
I can go home.
Yeah, it was like this. I mean, but it was the same thing getting on the cruise.
Right.
Like, no, I'm totally fine. And I know that like X, Y, and Z, but it was still the like,
am I fine? I don't know. Maybe.
Like, I mean, I think I'm good. But in any case, there is a further screening area. I'm sure that, especially like maybe if you're somebody who has recovered and you're still testing positive, because that can go a lengthier time. I don't know how they're handling that. I mean, I really don't. So bring documentation. That's all I can tell you. Fortunately, that didn't happen for us. We were able to just go mask up. Well, we were already masked. Get on the ship.
Of course.
Okay. And there's like little dots where you stand on, you get your welcoming show. They now, instead of muster drill being, okay, at 3 p.m., you sound the alarm and everybody has to go to their muster drill station. And so it was always like crowded hallways and, trying to get through. That is not the case. You take your lovely Disney Cruise Line app, you walk to your muster station. There's a cast member saying, okay, go ahead and scan that little barcode. You scan your barcode. They say, muster drill complete, because they know you know where to go.
Of course.
In the event of an emergency. And then you're free to experience. We went up to Cabanas. We got something to eat. They are now serving you at Cabanas. So instead of like buffet, like everybody's touching everything, they have their cast members behind each station, and it works like a little bit like school cafeteria. Like you go, okay, would you like this? Okay. Would you like some of this? Okay. And like you just go down and like yes or no to each of
right.
each of the things. Like you can have as much as you want. You can go back up as much as you want, but you're just not touching the handles and things yourself. They still give you they still have beverage service in terms of like they're coming, okay, what would you like to drink? Okay, lemonade, iced tea, whatever. So yeah, it was pretty great.
That's awesome. So how about like in getting off the ship and everything? I mean, just everything was planned. And
I guess I should say during the ship we were able to experience Palo twice. Mm-hmm. The crew members were amazing. They were so
how busy was it on the ship? Was it full? Because I'm hearing the ships are kind of half capacity right now. And
when I was on there, they said it was around 1,000, and that was 25% capacity.
So a ship that holds like 4,000 people.
Yes, because that was the Fantasy.
Right
now, I have heard that the more recent sailings this month are sailing at fuller capacity. I do think it's limited at some degree. They're not selling every room, but the ship I would like when I was on it, it was just literally there weren't a lot of staterooms booked, I think, for whatever reason, and the different changes in school and whatever. So I have heard that they're sailing closer to what their capacity is. I'm not sure if it's 50% or specifically what that is. They do have the tables distanced at like Artist Palette and Royal Court, Enchanted Garden. They've like made it so you're not going to share with another family at all. You're going to be with your own traveling.
Right.
Obviously. The spa is different. It is open. Not all treatments are open. The salon is open. The rainforest room is open, but you can book it for a 1 hour, 45-minute session. Mm-hmm. And it is just your party up to 10 people at a time. So Brady and I wanted to do the rainforest room. It's a flat rate. It was $175. Right. We booked it for our hour 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. We each had our own hot tub. Like you can do the saunas. It's weird because like there's not other people in there. There's like 10 lounge chairs. It's like
I was gonna say it's a big room just for y'all, which is nice.
That's cool. And then they go sanitize it in between or whatnot.
Well, it's nice because you can get cozy, or if you're like, you know what, I've spent 3 days with you, go over there. I'm good.
Right, like it doesn't matter. Like, okay, we could be at opposite ends. Like,
we got room.
Like we're good. And then also characters. There were a ton of characters coming out to greet in the main atrium area. Waiting.
Was it a Halloween theme? Did you go on it? Like, okay, good deal. Okay,
Halloween on the high seas. There was the costume party night. There was still pirate night. There were fireworks. They made it fireworks 2 nights now though. So like early seating got to go one night, and then late seating got to go a different night. And that's just to keep the crowds down on the deck. Right. So, that was really nice. We got 2 stops at Castaway Cay. Castaway Cay, as always, beautiful. We love Castaway Cay.
Of course.
But then yes, disembarkation works honestly a lot the same. You put your luggage out the night before, or if you're going to do express walk off, you can keep it with you. We put out our bags the night before and just kept in the room what we needed. The next morning you are assigned a seating time. So we went and sat down at whatever our seating time was, 8:15. And after we were done eating, we could walk off the ship and then go through customs. They still have the porters there to assist you with your luggage. You have to go through, show everything. Now, I was told that if it had been a 7-night cruise, you would have had to test before disembarkation. Okay. If it's longer than 5 nights, that is currently what they are saying. Now, ours was 4 nights, so not a big deal. We didn't have to test before getting.
So for somebody who may be, and I know some of our audiences, this somebody who may be skittish right now about the current environment, they're still a little like, I'm not sure if it's safe to go on a cruise. Obviously, people have to make their own decisions about what they want to do and how safe they want to be, and how I want people to feel better. So don't go somewhere you just don't think you're going to feel safe. Correct. But would you tell those people that the cruise lines are safe? I mean, everything's good, everything's clean.
I will tell you, I did not feel uncomfortable. In the slightest. The cleanliness. I mean, cruise lines have always been pretty good about keeping stuff clean. I mean, just in general. I saw people cleaning nonstop. I felt 100% comfortable. I mean, people were very good about wearing if masks, they were good about wearing them indoors and honoring the policies. Outdoor on the deck, it doesn't matter.
Right. Like, but everyone is required to wear masks indoors once you go below deck.
Indoors, once you are inside, obviously, unless you're eating or drinking, stationary. That's obviously. But no, I felt. I mean, and I wasn't around a lot of people. It's not like people were in my personal area. I will tell you,
it's a big ship. It's a big ship.
In front of the castle on the 50th, I was way more shoulder to shoulder with people than I was on that ship.
The magical mass of humanity.
So which isn't shade on that. I mean, I was comfortable, so I was there. That's fine. But my point is, I felt, and anything can happen anywhere. You have to judge your level of comfortability.
Yeah, Jen nor I are guaranteeing anything. You might go to cruise and get sick. You might go to the grocery store and get sick. So it is one of those things you just have to gauge
what you feel comfortable with. But I felt very, very comfortable the entire trip. So
good. Yeah. Good. So recommended. Obviously the Disney cruises, fantastic. So last thing before we get out of here, this is kind of jumping ship, and we meant to do this earlier, but we'll come back to it. Exactly. Splash. I want to talk a little bit about Space 220 because last week, of course, we were doing the recap. And by the way, if you haven't listened to last week's episode, it's fabulous. It is. We've done this is our 74th episode. It's probably one of my 2 or 3 favorite episodes we've ever done because it's such a great time to recap. We had Kyla on. I love me some Kyla. Heather will tell you that immediately. And so we had Heather on. It was a great time of recapping and kind of telling people what happened on the 50th. It was great storytelling. But we kind of skipped over a few things, kind of shot through some things just for time purposes because the show could still be going on. We could still be talking.
We would literally still be talking.
So I want to talk a little bit about Space 220 and kind of your experience and my experience. We kind of had the same experience because we both did lunch, but at different times. And so for us, there were 4 of us. There was myself. There was the aforementioned Kyla. We had our agent Lindsay and agent Sarah. And I love me some Lindsay and some Sarah as well. So I was happy as a clam because I had 3 of my girls with me, and so it was great. So we were all together, and so we got there, and there was a very long line to get in. Yes. So do not be fooled. If you have a reservation, go on inside. Don't get in that line because it's a line. Confusing. The line is for people who are trying to get to the lounge or people who are looking for standby, trying to get into the into the restaurant itself. Correct. And those people have been out there for hours. Don't go stand in that line waiting to check in because you'll spend all your time out there. Exactly. So go on inside. You check in. You're given like a little ticket basically to kind of your Centauri Alpha whatever to go into the to the lift or whatever it's called. There's a term for it. It's like I
don't remember.
Accelerator or the gravitronator
or something.
The liftatron or something. I don't know. It's probably Disney probably gave it 7 names. It's probably the same thing. Yeah. And so, it's a circular room with a window above you and a window below you. It's screens. Magic. But basically, you're told to kind of hold on. You have your masks on because it's indoors, right? And you lift off and you shoot through. You kind of watch Florida disappear below you. You see you're going with this basically you're going with this large pole, and you shoot through these little. There's little stations you kind of blow through. Yeah. And the storytelling behind that simply is that it's like each one of those is like a gravity accelerator or decelerator. Yes. And so, and I think we had somebody that said that, I don't know who it was, but I heard that somebody said that they were the only ones on there. And so the cast member was basically telling the story. This is what this does, this is what that does, whatever, da, da, da. And it kind of slightly moves a little bit. If you have motion sickness, I think you're going to be fine. Hold on, don't look up, don't look below. You should be fine.
Just close your eyes.
It's not like this motion simulator. It's kind of like a little worrying, you feel like you're moving, but it's not bad.
I mean, it is an elevator, so
it is an elevator,
so
exactly.
That's why you literally are moving, but you're not.
And it's a cool graphic. It really
is. Very cool.
You get to the top, quote unquote top, get to the station, whatever. You open up, the doors open up. You walk down this hallway. You see this large spinning wheel of produce. Yeah. It looks real. I don't know if it's real or not, but it looks dang good. It looks so real. It looks so real. And the audience may email us and be like, "Are you an idiot? Of course that's not real." Or, "Yes, it's real." I don't know. But you get in there, and then, of course, this dining room, which is not huge. It's a fairly good-sized dining room, but it's not massive. And they have a lot of seats by the window. We got to sit by the window, which was really, really cool. It was a 4-person booth. So we sat by the window, and you look out and see Earth. And out there you see satellites kind of whizzing by, and there's astronauts whizzing by, whatever. So, kind of the same experience for you. I know you didn't sit by the window. I mean, anything to
We
add
were
to
not
that?
by the window. We were over... It's funny. It was kind of in the lounge area, and there were 7 of us. We had 2 different reservations, but they were about the same time. Right. So they just sort of they sort of merged. And so we had 2 round tables, like high tops sitting in that area, but had a really great view. We could see out the window. We could see the lightsaber fighting and the guy walking the dog and all that. We had a great experience. Everybody was happy with their food orders or drink orders. And like I said, we had a nice selection amongst the 7 of us of everythking.
What did you have? Do you remember in particular what you had for lunch? No, this was lunch. Lunch and dinner means you're slightly different.
Yes, I had the mac. What's the mac and macaroni.
The baked macaroni.
The baked macaroni,
Yes.
which has a red sauce on it too.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was very good.
The description is candele pasta, sausage
Yes.
ragu, broccolini, sheep's milk ricotta, bechamel, whatever, and pecorino. We have a listener, Melissa, who is also a chef. She will hear all this and be like, "You're saying that wrong. You're saying that wrong. Oh my goodness, you people." So,
yes, but the macaroni is spelled weird. That's why I'm always like, "What?"
Yes,
it's like MACC. It must be something spacey.
You had the baked macarena, exactly.
Yes, the macarena.
Did you have an appetizer? Did you start anything with that appetizer?
Yes. What did I have as my appetizer? I'd have to look. Read me the appetizers. I'll tell you what I have.
Okay, so there is the Big Bang burrito. The Starry Calamari, the Blue Moon Cauliflower, Neptune Tartare, the Centauri Caesar Salad, Space Greens, and Galaxy Grain Salad.
I had the Caesar salad.
Okay, which is miniature romaine classic Caesar dressing. It's a classic Caesar salad.
It's a Caesar salad.
I started out with the Starry Calamari, and I am not a spice person at all.
Okay.
And so a lot of times they'll serve it with some sort of spicy sauce or whatever.
Right.
And it says fried calamari, Italian cherry peppers, spicy marinara, and roasted pepper citrus aioli. Now, 4 words in that make me think spice. And so I asked our server, her name is Amber, and she came out, and she was wonderful. Yeah. And she actually told us right at the beginning, hey, guys, just so you know, our kitchen is backed up. It's going to be a few minutes. And letting us know, setting an expectation to begin with. I hope you enjoy yourself, but this lunch is going to take longer than 45 minutes. So just understand this is where we are. Great. I'm glad that she did that. And I told her, I was like, I don't do spice. Of course, the girls are laughing at me. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you're so high maintenance." I'm like, "I know, I'm not Jen, I promise." And so, like, I had, and I was like, "I don't do spice. Is there any way?" And she was like, "Yeah, absolutely. We'll leave the sauce off. We'll put this on the side." And so they served it with aioli sauce, and it was super good. There was not a hint of spice in it. So it was served made to order. The calamari was fantastic.
Good.
2 of the girls got the Big Brain burrito, which is the burrito di mozzarella, which is basically like a big fancy cheese ball served over some lettuce stuff. Lindsay next to me got the Blue Moon Cauliflower, which is the tempura fried cauliflower, house-made hot sauce, and blue cheese dust, and she loved it. So all appetizers were great.
That's good.
We also, for my entree, I ended up getting the flat iron steak. Lindsay and I both got that with the coffee space rub. Smashed
that's what
fingerling potatoes, cabernet butter, and haricot verte, whatever the crap that is. I don't know what it was.
Haricot vert. Listen, I will help from Melissa. Haricot vert. That's Greek.
I'm looking at. I'm from Alabama. It says haricot. Whatever from England.
It's haricot vert and it's green beans.
Sorry. Anyway, it was really good too. The steak, it was seasoned a little bit too much for my taste, but I thought it was still very, very, very good. I believe Sarah got the chicken, the roasted free range chicken, which was really rotisserie chicken. That's all it was rotisserie. It was good.
Okay.
We all tried it. It was very good, but it was rotisserie chicken. And Kyla got the seared tuna, which was served cold over a salad. She really, really enjoyed that as well. I'm not a cold tuna fan, so I tried it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm assuming if I like tuna, I would really like this, but I don't really care that much about tuna, so I don't really care for this. We also got the Pop Rocks drink, which we mentioned last week in the in our thing. But basically, it's like $12, and it's like a Tang kind of like sweet drink. It's a drink they serve with Pop Rocks. It's a package of Pop Rocks they serve with a clip on the side, and you dump the Pop Rocks in, and they go everywhere, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great little experience. Kids would love this, and they serve it with a watermelon Pop Rock. I'm not a watermelon fan, so I made the mistake of saying, is there another flavor, like a cherry flavor? Well, of course, all 3 were like, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "I'm just kidding."
You're so
I'm
asking.
I'm asking. And apparently it's random. When they do Pop Rock orders, they serve the drink out with just a random
whatever
envelope.
you want. Okay.
But she brought me out a couple of extra, which were great. You also get space cards, which I don't know if this is just a kid meal thing or not. But they brought all of us a pack of the space cards, and there's like 4 cards in there, and she was telling us that they're not really limited edition. They're kind of widespread, but there's some gold cards in there that are very limited edition. And she's like, "You got yourself a gold card. It's a big deal." Of course, all of us opened our cards real quick.
Like,
no gold cards. No gold cards, but it was really cool. So you get some little cards there, which are nice. And I think even as an adult, if you ask for the cards, they probably will give them to you. Service free. I'm like, our service was fantastic. Service for you was your customer was great. Everything good there on your end?
Yeah, I mean, he was great. It was a lengthy.
It took long. Yeah.
It took a long time, but he was great. So I'm not, that the kitchen was backed up. I mean, what are you gonna do? So
yeah. So just note, and we said this last week, but just a point of reference: adult lunch, $55. That's the price now. When you get your appetizer and your entree. No drinks included, non-alcoholic or alcoholic. No Cokes or anything. You get none of that. So I didn't think about that. Ordered a Coke and it was like $5. Yeah. And so that's not included. Of course, obviously dessert is not included either. Did anybody at your table get dessert?
No, nobody got dessert.
I wish somebody would have gotten dessert at our table, and I should have gotten dessert because I love dessert. But we were stuffed. I mean, the food was so good.
It was
really
really
good.
It was really
so
good.
dinner is coming in right around, I believe right around $79.
Okay.
Now on that you get an appetizer, your entree, and your dessert on that as well. And you can see some pictures online right now of the desserts that are all planet looking and starry looking and everything, which is cool. But you do get your dessert with that, but you still don't get your drinks. And so just be aware of that when you go in there. If everybody around the table is like, give me a Coke, give me a coffee, give me whatever, you're paying for that.
You're paying.
So just so you know, if you're going to spend the money on it, go ahead and get your Pop Rocks drink or an alcoholic beverage or some sort of whatever. Overall, I would highly recommend Space 220. Yes. It's a great experience. The ambiance is great. Disney, I think, knocked it out of the park in terms of atmosphere.
Absolutely.
I mean, quote unquote atmosphere, literally.
Yes.
I would love it if, maybe they did this and I didn't see it, but I would love it if you looked out the window and saw the Earth there and saw like the X2 from Mission Space like flying by.
That would be cool.
Or maybe the Halcyon from the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge,
Black
Spire Outpost by 2 Galactic Star Cruiser or whatever. Seeing all that, like any kind of space thing that Disney has, I would love to see it in the atmosphere. I think that would be cool.
But they had a lot of cute stuff, so I mean, definitely something.
Yeah. And I'm also hearing too that, of course, when we first tried to book this, it was insane. I couldn't get it. I'm also hearing that things are becoming a little more available now. I think it's people, the people who wanted it immediately are getting it. And now maybe the price is scaring some people off, or the fact that it was hard to get. People aren't trying for it. But I'm hearing that it's not impossible now. So definitely try for it if you can.
Yeah.
Plan to block out about a good 90 minutes to 2 hours of your day. It's over there by Mission Space.
It's totally worth it.
It's definitely worth it. It's not something that I'm going to do again. It's not something I'm like, I have to do this over and over.
I'd like to do it for dinner.
I would like to do it for dinner, and I would do it with my family.
Absolutely.
But beyond that, now that I've experienced it, maybe something I would do in a couple of years again. I'm sure they'll raise the price at some point because it's Disney. But overall, I definitely would try it if you could. And the lounge, I haven't experienced the lounge. I've heard it's great.
I've heard it's great. Yeah, we didn't experience that either.
So there you go. Anything else we need to wrap up with? Are we good?
No, I think we're good. That's quite a lot of information.
Yeah, quite a lot of information. Very good. So Jen, what's next? When do you go to the park next? You're not going back till January, is that right?
No, that's incorrect. I'm actually going for our there's a summit, an owner summit.
Gotcha.
The beginning of November.
Gotcha. Okay. No, so you'll be there. Will you be at the parks? Or?
I will be at the park some, yes. Not as much as I normally am, but I will be in the parks.
Gotcha. And I'm going Thanksgiving, so I'll be down there for that as well. There's a conference I'm trying to go to, actually, right after your thing.
Right after
I'm trying to go to another thing for a couple of days. We're trying to see if that works out. I may zip over to Disney Springs, but otherwise, I'm no Disney until Thanksgiving, which we're down there for the week, which will be awesome.
That'll be cool,
So Jen, where can people find you on all your adventures?
You can find me at Upon a Star, Jen, everywhere. And then you can find me on my personal Instagram at Jen_Novotny. Of course, the travel agency, Out Upon a Star Travel, everywhere. And
Yep. Find me online at The Magic on a Dollar on Instagram. My Instagram account is now a year old since Disney took my original one away. It's now about a year old.
Not Disney.
I'm over. I'm sorry, not Disney. Facebook. Disney doesn't care. Facebook took it away. So I had to start a new one a year ago, but I've reached over 500 followers, which I'm pretty happy with in a year. And I just reached 7,000 followers on my Disney on a Dollar page on Facebook, which again, I'm very proud of that because it's all organic. I've never bought followers or anything, which is nice. Awesome. Also find me there, Disney on a Dollar and Magic on a Dollar on Facebook, and that's where you can find all the stuff. Of course, Jen has another podcast called the Divas Dish Diz podcast, and you had a great guest coming on that just came on. Episode out now, Nisha, who quick 2-second, 3-second pitch. Who is Nisha? Tell us.
So Nisha is really big in the keto carnivore world. Know, she has a YouTube, she has a blog, she has all of the things, and she is very well known in that community. But she also loves Disney.
Good.
She fit in with me and Christine like peas and carrots. We were like we had such an amazing time chatting all things Disney, and her energy is just fantastic. So it's a fun episode.
Fantastic. We'll get her on the show too. We'll have to have her on the show too. So there you go. So Diva Dishes. I have another podcast called the Deucecast Movie Show, which drops every Wednesday as well. So there you go. That's where to find us. That's where we are. And you guys have a great week. All the information you'll hear about the show is coming up at the very end. Don't forget to go to uponastartravel.com and of course at uponastartravel on Instagram and Facebook and all those good places. And hey, Jen, have a great week, and we'll see you soon. And don't forget to thank those Phoenicians.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.